Hi, thank you for looking at our channel today. This is a family channel. Me and my four sisters, the Wolf sisters, often like to share recipes, basically the how-to, that would be like today's, or other projects that we're involved with. This is our maiden voyage today, and it's Mutter's Mac and Cheese. Mutter being my mother, her nickname was Mutter. So from 1948. And it's actually the inspiration for doing this because we found among the five sisters that several people were struggling because they weren't there when she was actually making it. And I was. So I am going to run through this. I expect this to be about 7 minutes. Now I will tell you, for this mac and cheese, which is baked, I typically buy Tillamook already grated cheese from Costco, and also Parmigiano Reggiano, also known as Parmesan cheese, that is shredded. That also comes from Costco. So I do use those two cheeses. It's not required. You certainly need cheddar, but otherwise not required. Now, I'm doing this in a 10 by 13 glass bowl, which is exactly 3 inches tall. And that becomes really important as we move through. So that's what I'm using. Probably more typically you'd find 9 by 13, but be fussy about using one that's 3 inches tall. Also be fussy about it being clear, and you'll learn why later when we're looking at the milk level that's added last. So what you'll see in just a moment, you'll be able to put your video on hold and take a screenshot of one screen with the ingredients and the next screen with the instructions. I'm ready to put this together. I've already boiled my macaroni, so I have that all ready for you. And what I boiled was 5 cups of macaroni that measures 11 cups when cooked. So, I lost my measuring cup for a minute, so I'll be using this. And you layer it. I was very good about spraying this with oil spray, not only on the bottom but on the sides. So basically like a 1 layer thickness of the macaroni. So I'd say this is probably 2.5 cups. Then the next layer is already measured 4 cups of shredded cheese. And I spread that just evenly as my second layer. Sharp would probably be better, but this medium I think is great, and I can get it already shredded. Then I'm going to follow that layer with the Parmesan cheese, and that's a little lighter, and I put it on top of the cheddar. Then I typically give it a little salt, not much, and pepper. No, not much. Oh boy, not much. Oh boy, that was too much. Okay, wrong side of that was open. Won't be putting any more pepper in it. Move it around a little bit, maybe that'll help. Okay, then I'm gonna go on to the next layer of macaroni in my 3-inch tall glass see-through dish and spread it as evenly as makes sense. And I'm using these 5 cups that turned into 11, and I probably don't need it all, but I didn't want to make any errors when I was showing you. Okay, then I'm gonna put some cheese on it. Looks like I might end up with 3 tall layers. We'll see. And you have license to modify this, of course, any way that makes sense to you. And the Parmesan, and I'm using 1 cup of that. And then another layer. And this will be I'm gonna make this my top layer. My last layer, I should say. And so I'm gonna spread that around. My oven is preheating to 350 degrees, where it'll be cooked for 45 minutes. Okay, very good. That looks pretty darn good. So of my 11 cups, I'm gonna say I probably used just over 9. Then I'm gonna go on with my last layer of cheddar cheese. And I had 4 cups ready, and I do have a little bit of extra, which I'm going to use. Okay, so that takes care of that. Little bit of Parmesan, and then I'd be salt and pepper, but I'm not going to do that anymore. A little bit more I'd probably do. Then, so Simple Simon. Then the next thing is the milk, and this is where you become very encouraged that you've got this glass bowl that you can see through. The most common mistake made is the milk. Too little or too much. Error on the side of too much, because the macaroni does absorb it. And this is a lot of macaroni and cheese. This is great if you're going to a potluck, or your family eats it for a couple days, 3 days. But people tend to either put too little or too much milk. Now the milk, if you look at your instructions that you took a snapshot of, this is evaporated milk, not sweet condensed milk. That would be a serious mistake that has been made. So I have 2 cans here. So I have 24 ounces of evaporated milk. Remember, 9-10 cups of macaroni. So I'm pouring that in, and it's running down and running into the macaroni and settling in the bowl. And I'm actually gonna look at the height of milk in the bowl. I know it's not good enough, and I know I'm gonna have to add additional milk. And that's usually 1.5 cups, I'm estimating, that I might add. I'm looking at my milk level. Can you see the milk level here? Can you see that? Okay, that's really low. So I probably want it quite a bit higher than that. In our house, this is regular milk, but it could be skim milk, regular milk, any kind of milk. But you definitely need it. And I'm watching that settle in. Yeah, we're looking good. And if you have too much milk, especially if you're reheating it later, it's not a problem. Okay, I'm probably gonna stop. Probably getting pretty close to 2 cups. So I'm gonna stop that, and it'll settle. I'm going to bake this, I said, at 350 degrees, and I'm certainly going to use a cookie sheet because your milk actually might foam up and boil over a little bit. Our Mutter's mac and cheese is done. It's been just over 45 minutes, and I'm going to take it out of the oven and sit it on the counter. And the most important thing at this point, and do not forget, is to let this rest for 15 minimum to 30 minutes. And it'll settle down. Otherwise, you're going to have a milky mess. So that is it. Mutter's mac and cheese. Thank you.